Have you ever laughed so hysterically at something so simple you were starting to get legitimately worried that you were losing your sanity or something? About what were you laughing so hard then? Me and two of my friends were working on a movie, but we messed up some files and accidentally replaced the black screen after a character's suicide with a panorama of cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon Voyage. I was in INSAT class and we were going over practice questions. The instructor read out a group of spoon collectors, and I began laughing so hard and for so long that I had to leave the classroom. I'm over it now, but it was troubling. A group of spoon collectors is known as a draw. Oh no. Here he goes again laughing hysterically. Sometime in the mid to late aughts, my husband was on the phone with iRobot customer support regarding our Roomba. I was in another room, but I could hear his side of the conversation clearly, and I could tell he wasn't getting the results he'd hoped for. As he got more frustrated, he blurted out, "I've had problems with this robot since the day I brought it home." Something about that particular phrase just hit me hard. I immediately started laughing and couldn't stop. I was still laughing when he got off the phone. Understandably, he wanted to know what was wrong with me. Through maniacal laughter, I parroted the phrase back to him, which had something of a feedback loop effect on my laughter. It's been over a decade, but thinking of that phrase still makes me giggle. My husband was on the phone with Sparks 360 tech support back in 07 because one of the games he downloaded didn't work. He kept trying to tell the tech the name of the game, but the tech couldn't understand him. So he goes Streets of Rage. Rage. Like what I'm feeling right now. Exclamation mark. And my mom and I just cracked the duck up. We had tears coming out of our eyes. I don't know why it was so funny, but here we are 13 years later still cracking up about it. Me and some friends went on a trip with this youth leadership organization. The trip was supposed to last 5 days, but our flight back home was delayed a full 22 hours. We ended up staying in a hotel and playing Cards Against Humanity. I think the prompt had something to do with the worst line on a first date or something like that. One of us answered yeast. We laughed for 10 full minutes and my sides hurt for the rest of the night. How was your day, yeast? My mom once said boo to my dad who kept hiccuping to make him stop. She said it in the most innocent and pure way that we couldn't stop laughing. The laughing went on for like an hour though. Years ago I was having drinks with my best friend when she developed the hiccups. I told her I would have to scare her. About 5 minutes later, I told her I had something very serious to talk to her about. She leaned in, looking a little worried. I sighed heavily and said, "You're pregnant." Her eyes got huge, and in a panicked voice she asked, "I am?" Question mark. She immediately realized her mistake, but it was too late. I was dying laughing. Literal tears running down my face. I couldn't pull it together. It's still a memory that makes me giggle, and the best part is it worked. Her hiccups stopped. I don't remember the context, but my best friend and I, then in our preteen/early teens, were flopping around on her bedroom floor and screaming fish out of water. We insisted on showing her mom, who looked at us like we were on meth. I almost passed out. I could not breathe from laughing so hard. I almost passed out. I could not breathe from laughing so hard. Are you sure it wasn't just your gills not working on land? LMAO, I don't know you, but I love you as much as a fish can feel love. Anyway, I didn't question my sanity, but I got stuck in a laughing loop with my then 1-year-old son. He was laughing at my laugh, and I was laughing at his. It was the better part of an hour and we were both exhausted afterward. It was over 30 years ago and it still makes me some when I think about it. This reminds me of a sleepover I had in middle school. There wasn't enough couch space for all of us girls to sleep on, so me and a few of my friends were on the floor. I can't explain why, but everything I heard was hilarious. I laughed until it hurt to smile. I justified it by saying that everything is funny on the floor. So we all took turns lying on the carpet and laughing our asses off. The people on the couch started laughing at the people on the floor, and the people on the floor were laughing because the people on the couch were laughing. It still holds true today. Everything really is funny on the floor. A few weeks back I was taking a shower and I looked at my foot and it just looked so stupid that I started laughing and couldn't stop. Like I had these weird paw-like failed hands attached to my legs and they were so ridiculous looking. And I was just going around with my body ending that way. I laughed at my foot for about 5 straight minutes. I've done this too. Specifically because my foot ended and then toes appeared. This is the end bloopers when they are talking about their religion and Craig Robinson says, and Dan is Muslim and Danny McBride just says shalom. It's not even that funny, but I lose my shit every single time. It was a windy day and I was eating a bagged lunch with my coworkers. Suddenly a huge gust of wind blows the bag and all my food away, leaving me staring at an empty table with a fork in my hand. I didn't even try to catch it. I just started laughing so hard I had to lay on the ground. The ability to laugh at my own pain is like my only superpower. There's a sticker in my phone keyboard gallery of a purple llama with a box of carrots, and it says busy, apostrophe. I saw it at work, and laughed so hard I was crying. I legitimately could not stop my brain from recalling the image. I had to leave work. Edit, it's actually a person dressed up in a purple llama suit, drama llama. My brain malfunctioned and read busy as bussy, which sent me into the laughter realm. I read a meme asking if Norwegian clowns say HJNK. My girlfriend speaks fluent Norwegian and told me how that would be pronounced. Kind of a hjonk. I thought I was going to pass out from lack of air due to laughing. I'd catch a grip every now and then and a quiet eong would corpse me into laughing harder. This comment has made me hysterical. My friend and I were watching Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs when we were about 12. There's a scene in that movie where a giant bowl of water spills on everybody sitting in bleachers. And there's a guy in the splash zone ready to get wet. Except everybody except him gets splashed instead. And he throws his hat on the ground and yells, "Oh, come on." My friend and I laughed our asses off at this. And this eventually led to us replaying a ton of scenes in slow motion, zoomed in, etc. There was a scene in South Park where they are trying to get a whale to the moon. Long story, makes no sense. But there was one gag that the boys cannot get NASA to do it, so they go to NASA, the Mexican space agency. So, when the rocket takes off with the whale, some mariachis come out and play a song to celebrate. I don't know why, but it caught us off guard and a friend and me started laughing so hard and so long I thought I was going to die of asphyxia. It was late and my wife was driving us home. We passed by an R&W, a fast food chain with its own root beer. My wife said, "Hey, you know what R&W stands for?" And I said I assumed it was the initials of the founders. She said, "No, it's for hamburgers and would-be," and I instantly and fully lost my shit. Her delivery was so cute and I was so tired that I laughed about it for the entire rest of the 15-minute drive. For the next several days I was still giggling every time I thought about it. This reminds me of the funniest thing my wife has ever done. We were on a weekend trip to New York City and I was in a level 9 fury over the shitty people and driving we'd dealt with all day. We got stuck in a traffic jam after hitting up a Sonic for late night dessert on the way back to our hotel, and I was fuming. Without missing a beat, she takes a spoonful of her ice cream and just starts saying, "Lieutenant Dan, I got you some ice cream from Forrest Gump." I no-sold it and didn't want to break my focus on being mad, and all of a sudden I see the spoon enter my line of vision from the left as she just says in an elongated fashion, "Lieutenant Dan, ice cream." I burst out laughing and we laughed for like 10 minutes in traffic. It's still regularly brought up as one of our inside jokes and makes me smile to this day. Every time I see this one Vine where it's the GameCube startup sound, but it ends with a guy tripping and yelling shit, I bust out laughing. I cannot explain why. Yes, that one's my favorite. I laugh hysterically every time. Many years ago, I went through about a week-long phase where I simply could not read my credit card number over the phone without laughing hysterically. No reason. It just started one day. Then I think I got all up in my head and it just snowballed from there. Every time I tried to order food, confirm some travel reservation, whatever, I would start laughing and it would take me forever to get through the number. The surprising thing was how infectious the laughter was. I thought the people on the other end of the phone would be annoyed, but probably 9 times out of 10 they'd start laughing too. It was like some virulent mindworm of contagious hysteria, and then just as suddenly as it started, it was over. Hasn't happened since, though I still brace myself every time, just in case. Close bracket. This reminds me of the time someone came to my front door to try and sell me solar panels or something, and for no reason, I started getting very jiggly, like really trying to hold it in. The guy then also started trying not to laugh as he explained the benefits of solar power to me. I eventually had to apologize for laughing. No idea why. No, but way back when in high school the teacher wrote newspaper, but the A looked close to an O. So a kid laughed hysterically for a few minutes because it looked like newspaper, which is pretty funny, but I wouldn't say multiple minutes funny. I think multiple minute laughter seems to be from hitting you just right in a really weird way, not necessarily because it's so super funny. I had a dream recently that a friend of mine spent 2 full hours focusing intensely hard on writing something down. When he was finally finished, he showed it to me in a 5-year-old's handwriting in crayon. The page simply read "Apple Cider Dognuts." I laughed so hard I woke myself up crying. Also, I was once at a small but serious poetry reading event at my university. A few people spoke about different connections they had to the poet, like the host of the event who introduced had gone to grad school with her, the university president who had worked with her mentor, etc. My friend whispered to me in this goofy voice and I ducked her mom. We both were laughing so hard people were turning around to glare like 4 rows ahead. Even though we were trying to be silent, I laughed on and off for half an hour and had to leave the event early because it was so disruptive/inappropriate. This actually happened to me and a friend of mine. We were high and typing random phrases into Google Translate. He suggested I type in dingleberries and translate it to Spanish. It translated to Bayas del Dingle. For some reason we lost our shit at that. I don't think we stopped laughing for half an hour. My head was throbbing from laughing so hard and my lungs hurt. It just took me 20 minutes to be able to read this comment to my partner to a point where he could understand me because I just kept losing it at Bayas del Dingle, hahaha. A double headstone at a cemetery that said graves. Edit. Thanks for the awards, gents. Glad I could bring a chuckle out of ya. I had a similar experience in a cemetery. The grave was the one of a T. More. Provided I speak French, you can pronounce T. More similar to tes mort, which means you're dead. I couldn't stop laughing in the middle of a cemetery while wandering around with the rest of my class, curious about the origins of such laughter. Me and my friend nearly ended ourselves laughing at the Benedict Cumberbatch memes, Benadryl Kabaja patch and so on. It was at the point where it physically hurts to laugh. Edit. Wow. I woke up to more than 8k upvotes and 3 awards. It's heartwarming to see that in such shitty times simple things can unite us all in laughter. I have loved reading new variations and silently shaking with laughter next to my sleeping other half. Thank God for COVID-19 Christmas mask. His name is the gift that keeps giving. My mom read the story about how he interfered with a delivery driver mugging a few years back and said the following. I read that Benjamin Cumberbunch came upon a robbery and instead of running away from the muggers, he beat them off in the street. To this day it might be the hardest I've laughed. Edit. Thanks for the silver kind stranger. I read a comment with a typo on a post yesterday and lost it laughing. The typo was rainbow capitalism. There was a Reddit post that cited a statistic on shark attacks, but instead said Shrek attacks. Wet soup. Just the idea of going into a restaurant, asking how the soup is and being told wet. Hey PSSST. Please subscribe and like.